Excited to be joined by my next guest, the BKFC champ, Chris Camozzi, who will be defending his strap BKFC Italy, April the 26th, when he rematches with Lorenzo Hunt. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And we're all excited to see you back in action. This is a rematch that I know the fans are all clamoring to see. First, before we jump into all the fight related talk, I wanted to congratulate you on all the personal success. I don't know, are you married now or are you still engaged? I saw the big Instagram post and it looked pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, we got engaged. Not married yet, but we're planning all that out now. So, that takes some time.
What's the plans with that? Is that something that you're going to do later on this year or?
We're probably looking at next year. This year's pretty busy. Between this fight, there's a potential another fight later this year. Just a lot of things going on. My year is kind of booked out right now. So we're taking our time, enjoying engagement anyway, and not in any rush. And yeah, it'll be a really cool event and just a lot to plan.
For sure, man. Well, congrats again. Did you guys do that trip that you were telling me about? You were going to go, I can't remember exactly where you were saying, but it sounded amazing. You were going to kind of bring some other people with you. Is that something you already did?
No, not yet. So Whitney and I do group fitness retreats, right? So the way this fight worked out actually is kind of perfect. So fighting April 26th in Italy, and our retreat that we planned probably over a year ago is in Crete, Greece, May 4th through the 10th. So rather than come home in between, we're going to kill time in Italy and then meet up with our group in Greece and run the retreat.
That's sick, man. Do you anything like specific plan, like something, some place that you want to go to, or just something that you're trying to do, like that you really, want to make sure you kind of check off the bucket list?
That's another piece of the puzzle we're kind of going through right now is planning that trip out, but we want to see like the Amalfi Coast. I was thinking about just renting a car and kind of like driving Italy, stopping where we want, staying where we want. Um, it's all up in the air right now, but we're going to put a little bit more of a plan together than just get in a car and go.
Very cool. And I'm curious, like just with everything you got going on right now, how you're managing your time. I mean, you even do the real estate thing on the side. Like you're a busy guy. Like, is there enough hours in the day for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get up early. I try to get up around like 5 in the morning and get going. Work wise, I try to get some of the stuff I can done early in the morning. And then obviously I train in the morning, work throughout the day, and then go back to the gym at night. So it's a full schedule, but I really like being busy. It keeps my mind just pumping too.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I've just grown accustomed to it. I've always owned my own businesses and done other things aside from fighting, so I'm pretty used to it.
How many hours of sleep do you average now?
About 5 to 6.
Oh my God. Is that enough? Like, do you feel like that's enough?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty like hyper person anyway. I would say, yeah, right around 6 is like the sweet spot for me. I'm not one of those people that needs 8 hours of sleep, but fight week, I'll probably sleep a little bit more. We'll see. I wake up early in general, even if I don't set an alarm. So I'm just ready to go. I'm one of those people, as soon as the alarm goes off, I'm like already halfway up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm an early riser myself. Do you find though that that's changing as you're getting a little bit older now? Like prioritizing sleep is becoming more and more important?
No, I feel like it's become less. um, no, I mean, just busy, but it's all exciting stuff. It's stuff that I enjoy doing. That's why I'm still fighting. I still love even just training. So I get excited every day going to the gym, and then, I love my job and stuff too. So every day I'm excited for the day and ready to go because, there's money to be made.
For sure. Well, tell me, like, how has life changed for you the most since becoming the BKFC champ?
Man, I don't know. I would say more just mentally, I guess, lifelong goal, become a world champion. So it feels good, but for me, I just always look like, all right, who's next? Who's coming after me next? Let's get it. Like you said, I'm getting older, so I don't know how many I have left in me. So I'm just enjoying the ride.
You're not that old. I'm just saying, like as we all get a little older, I just for me, anyways, I'm noticing how crucial sleep is. And this might be a silly question, but I feel like I obligated to ask. How are you? Do you feel like you're more popular now at this stage, being the BKFC champ than you were when you were in the UFC? Because obviously, like, the UFC is still like the top dog when it comes to like promotional, I guess the one that people most pay attention to. But with you being a champ now for a huge organization like BKFC, I'm sure that fan base too, like you're a big deal. So I'm just curious, like how you view that. Like, are you more recognizable now?
I feel like, yeah, actually, with BKFC, they get a ton of exposure. I mean, there's clients of mine even, that I don't tell that I fight. Um, it's not something I would just bring up and tell people. And so there's been clients or other brokers in the state and everything that were like, I just saw you win a championship, didn't I? Like, I didn't even know that you did that. And it's just shown me how many people like actually watch. Um, and it's pretty cool, Yeah, I would say there's a lot more people that recognize me now since becoming BKFC champ and around town, other states. I was really surprised.
What's your take on just the press conferences that have taken place? Obviously with Lorenzo, he likes to talk some junk, and Conor just being Conor and the polarizing megastar that he is. Like, how surreal is all that?
It's cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I've said it forever, but I've been around a lot of like really, really, really big celebrities, and I feel like I've never seen anybody with star power like Conor McGregor. It's pretty unreal. I mean, even Florence, I guess, could be like a smaller city out there, from what I've heard, and there was probably, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 people in the streets at any moment he was going places. If you watch his social media when he was just walking through the streets, his security team was having a hell of a time just trying to like clear the way. Um, the amount of star power that guy has is transcended sport.
Oh, for sure. Do you think he's gonna fight again? Like, if you had to bet money on it, do you think he will?
I don't know. I guess it just depends on, where he goes from there. Obviously, I don't think the UFC is going to be letting him out of his contract. I don't know all the inner workings behind it, but he's a cash cow, so I can't see the UFC being like, all right, go ahead, do whatever you want, we'll let you go. Um, so I'm sure it's gonna have to be in the UFC, but you never know with Conor, man. I feel like he makes his own rules.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. How close is your relationship with him? Like, do you have his number in your phone?
No, not his phone number. We DM back and forth quite a bit. After the press conference, went to dinner with him, and yeah, I enjoy being around him. He's got a ton of experience, and just hearing the way he promotes things, he was giving me some advice at the dinner table, and yeah, I mean, I've had a great relationship with him, and it's cool to have him as a part of BKFC.
Yeah, and obviously with him attached to the promotion too, it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and more popular. That's a safe thing to say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the eyeballs that he's got on the sport. I mean, because I was with them obviously before he came on board, and you can definitely see the difference. And I think it's really cool what he's done, not just for me, but for other guys in BKFC. He's sharing their stories. He's promoting them as individuals and the promotion. So obviously, I appreciate it. We all do. It helps with sponsorships and everything else, and just getting more eyeballs on the athletes as well as the promotion.
As far as just like the fighting aspects of BKFC, what do you think it is that's drawing fans in more, where it's becoming more popular? Like, what specific is it? Attending events and just the differences like from what the UFC puts on?
Yeah, I would say one, it's the shock value. It's a lot more violent. The finishes are quick. I mean, that last card, I don't know if you watched it. There was a ton of finishes. A lot of them were like one punch KOs, which keeps the average fan interested. You've been to a ton of UFCs, I'm sure, and people boo as soon as guys start wrestling and grappling, even though knowing about grappling, like I'm like, man, you guys have no idea how exhausting that is, how tiring that is when they're like jockeying for position on the cage. I think BKFC, you don't really have to be educated on the sport to know what's going on. When you see a fist fight, you know who's winning when you see one guy get dropped or knocked out. So the UFC back in the day had to do a really big like marketing campaign on educating the fans because people didn't know what was going on. And BKFC doesn't have that problem because I think every human in the world knows what's going on in a bare knuckle fist fight.
And do you think like this is a sport too, where, like you said, you're not doing everything that you have to do training wise with MMA? Like, there's nothing more grueling than wrestling. You know, going to practice the next day after a day of wrestling. I know for me, anyways, my body was absolutely spent. So, having said that, do you feel like we're going to see fighters, like yourself, like other people coming down the pipeline that are going to be competing at a high level in BKFC at a later age? Like, it's something that you'll see a lot more people doing.
I think so. Um, it's tough for a longevity sport. I would say that. It's with the amount of cuts, I've been really fortunate, but there's some guys that are getting really, really cut up, banged up, broken bones. I don't know that it's a sport that we're going to see too many guys have, 20 plus fights in bare knuckle. So for me, it was kind of a smarter move to do later in the career. Um, I've had some younger guys ask me, and I'm like, man, I honestly, I feel like my suggestion would be to build your name up in, boxing, MMA, something, and then make that transition because you'll get more money too.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think, but it's going to keep growing. They just announced a couple more countries they're going to. It's becoming a worldwide sport real quick.
Is there a couple names you can give me of fighters that are in the BKFC promotion right now that might not be huge stars today, but like a year from now, 2 years from now, you can see them as really blossoming and becoming like, household names?
Yeah, I mean, like Marcus Edwards from my gym. He's been fighting forever, so I don't want to say he's not a household name. There's a lot of people out there that know him, but he's super exciting. He's the main event on BKFC Omaha coming up. We've got Andrew Strode out here in Colorado, who has been on a tear since he came in. Um, but he's not super known yet. But I could see him fighting for the title here soon. Same with Carlos Trinidad. He's fighting Austin Trout for the belt next, and I think that that's going to be the one that really puts him over because he's undefeated in BKFC, and he stays pretty quiet. But I think that after this Dubai fight, if he's able to pull off the win, that's going to make him more of a household name.
Is there one or two fighters in the UFC right now that you feel like just have the perfect skill set that when they move on would really do well in BKFC?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I was talking to Ryan Bader yesterday. I just saw that he parted ways with Bellator and PFL, and he's asked me a little bit about BKFC. So we'll see. Maybe we see him come over. I know he's got some other offers he's digging through, but the guy hits like a hammer. That it's a good sport for him. He's quick. Um, I know he's not out of the UFC like you were saying right now, but he was. And man, off the top of my head right now, I'm not sure. Justin Gaethje obviously would be a gigantic superstar. I think he's in there bare knuckle fighting every fight anyway. He's swinging for the fences on everything, and that's why people love him.
Yeah, no doubt. Couple of great names. Fun fact, the one UFC event that I went to with my father when the UFC came to my hometown, Ryan Bader headlined it. This is way back in like 2013 or 14. And I'm trying to think who he beat. OSP. He beat OSP. You remember how long
Oh
ago that
yeah,
was? It's crazy how much
man.
time passes, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't feel like I've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah, it's wild, man. As far as you getting ready for Lorenzo, like this camp, like who have you had like around to kind of emulate him? Who have been like your main partners you've been getting working with?
Um, it, I know you always ask me that. It changes all the time. We get guys in and out of Genesis a ton. But recently, Grant Neal is out of my gym. And so I train with him all the time. And he's kind of a great look for me as far as Lorenzo goes, build wise, everything. B Raj, I don't know if you remember Brian Rogers from Bellator.
Oh yeah.
Um, is thinking about coming back to fighting. He's actually in the best shape. He's in better shape now than he was when he was fighting. I told him that the other day. I'm like, man, I don't know what you've been doing, but this is what you should have been doing back then too. Because his cardio is great and he's still got it. So him and I have been sparring a bunch, and he's really fast and explosive. That's what he was always known for. So he's a good look for me. Paulo Costa has been out here, so him and I have been getting some rounds in. Anthony Smith and I were sparring the other day. Yeah, it's always changing, but in Colorado we have so many good fighters that it's great to just have so many people in and out and different looks all the time.
Yeah, you're naming stud after stud. What about Brandon Gertz? Is he going to be fighting on this BKFC Italy card?
No, he's not on that card. He had surgery after his last fight. Um, he tore his, what was it, his shoulder or rotator cuff in like the first 20 seconds of the fight. So he's still kind of on the mend from that. Yeah, so I think we'll see him back though.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Brandon Gertz. Hopefully, we will see him back soon. I wanted to ask you real quick too, just about your relationship with the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Are you still in good communication with him?
Oh yeah, yeah, we still talk, and I kind of jumped on that his King of Violence company. So I have my own shirts through them now, and I have a little stake in the company as well. So we're business partners too.
Very cool. Will he be making the walk with you to the squared circle?
I don't know yet. We're working on it. We'll have to see.
Okay. Would you like him to? That'd be pretty cool to have him there again.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. I told him he's always welcome. You know, he's a legend, man. It's just cool having him around. He's got stories for days. And yeah, I mean, he started his career in bare knuckle essentially. They weren't wearing gloves back then when he was fighting Pele and
Yeah.
a lot of those other guys.
I was lucky enough to interview him once. I hope I get a chance to do it again someday. But one of the questions I obviously asked him is, prime Chuck Liddell versus prime John Jones. And you know what Chuck said, right? But like, I'm just curious, like when you look at that fight objectively, Chuck in his prime was as good as anyone, pound for pound. Like what, do you feel like stylistically that could have been a fight that, favored Chuck? Cause he'll sprawl and brawl. Like if he wants to stay on the feet, he'll stuff takedowns and stand up. And I feel like, his stand up is on par with Jones. I don't know if that's crazy to say, but I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Obviously, we all know Chuck back in the day was on a tear. There wasn't many people that could stand with him his wrestling was, I don't want to say underrated. Everybody just knew he could wrestle really well. So he was really hard to take down, which is what made him so dangerous. I don't know how it would go, but I would definitely pay for it.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk a little bit more about Lorenzo. Would you say there's bad blood between you two, or is it just like you guys are competitors? You fought once. It is what it is. Like, tell me your thought process on just your mindset going in against them.
My mindset honestly has been I don't pay attention to too much of what he's got going on. The first fight I did, we back and forth online. He still tags me in every single post, everything, but I've been so laser focused on this fight. Um, I feel like I am just seeing through him rather than look at him. You know what I mean? I'm going there on a mission. I've never been more focused in my life. I want that one back. He's had his drama with getting stripped and all the allegations, and everything going on there. And I'm just basically this camp, I told myself, don't focus on any of the bullshit. Focus on winning. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care what he's got going on. I don't care what he's doing for training. I don't care any of that. And I've just stayed completely focused on what I need to do.
Do you think that it's been a mental hurdle for him to kind of, I don't know, get right with himself after being suspended and stripped and all that? Like, do you think that affected his mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say to which way, but I definitely think it did. He's champion for a really long time, so him coming out as the challenger this time, I think, is going to be very different for him. And I also think that the public, when everything came out, the public, man, really seemed to have turned. That's why I don't even get involved in like the trash talk online. And if I do look at it, it's just, you know, everybody else going at him. And I'm like, man, that must suck. It must suck, but it's not my problem.
What do you think, without giving away your game plan, what do you think the stylistic differences we're going to see in the first fight versus this upcoming one? Do you think it's going to be a different kind of fight?
I do. I think it's going to be completely different. And obviously everybody will say that, I lost a split decision the first time. Um, but I don't plan on having the judges at all this time. I know where I messed up certain parts of the last fight. And I've seen other things I could have capitalized on. And I've just come in with kind of a completely different game plan. So I'm not going to share too much, but yeah, I think it'll be absolutely different fight.
And just for the record, you think you won the first fight?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people felt the same way. It was very, very close. After that fight, I wanted to ask you too, because he did get KO'd by Mick Terrell. Do you feel like, I mean, at this stage of his career, how much of an effect do you think that could have for his future fights, for like this upcoming fight with you? Do you think that's going to have lingering effects on his ability to perform at his best?
I don't know. It might make him hungrier. Should I even throw him some props and correct that because he didn't get KO'd. He did get knocked down and I don't know if it was a dislocation or broke his arm, but that's a rough recovery too. You know, he's in his 40s. I'm sure all of that weighs on his head a little bit. I got to imagine, you know, he took the fight, so he must be feeling better, but those things can linger in your head. And I think, you know, he's got some demons in there he's going to battle trying to get to this fight.
He is 42 years old. So having said that, do you think you're getting a lesser version of Lorenzo Hunt? Like maybe he's not the absolute, best prime version of himself.
No, I mean, I can't even look at it that way or think about it that way. Um, Again, it's cliche to say, but I'm going in there planning on the best him because, you know, things like that happen to somebody and they come back hungrier and hungrier. So I don't want to make the mistake of underestimating it or being like, you know, he was hurt, he was knocked down, any of those things. You know, I'm going in there planning on fighting a better Lorenzo than the first fight.
You said earlier that you're not going to let this fight go to the judges. So give me your official prediction. What do you think is going to happen come April 26th?
April 26th, man, I'm putting him to sleep. I don't know what round, but I don't want to have the judges involved in it. I want to put a stamp on this victory. You know, a split decision, whether I won or lost the last one, wouldn't make me happy. So the only way I'm going to be happy is with a finish.
Can't wait to see it, my man. Always great talking to you, Chris. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If you got any sponsors you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, floor is yours.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. No, let's see. Shout out to RMA Armament. You know, they were with me in the last fight. They're sponsoring me again this fight. You know, Fight Soap, Sheath Underwear. There is a bunch of companies that we're working on right now, and I can't wait to announce them. But yeah, my team at Genesis, thank you for the interview, and I'm looking forward to get out to Italy and getting the job done.